This is not going to win me any friends. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking you through a list of super popular books that I really did not enjoy. These are some of the books that I DNF'd really early on, or that I read through, but they just didn't hit me in the way that they've hit everybody else. As you can imagine, for me and my reading taste, quite a lot of these books are going to be fantasy, but there are also a couple of contemporary books on here that just did not reach the marks for me. First up is no surprise because it is a fantasy book, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I thought I'd get along with this a little bit better than I did because it's got kind of historical fiction elements tied into it as well, but I just could not look past the fantasy side of it. I feel like I also need to correlate that with, I didn't read the whole book. I downloaded a Kindle sample of it a couple of years ago when it was really big on BookTube, and I mean it was absolutely everywhere. I think it was actually when it had just come out, but I downloaded a sample of it to my Kindle and I just gave it a try. I said, there's nothing to lose. I haven't paid a cent for this book. I'm just going to see how I get along with it. And honestly, we just did not get along. I haven't tried any of V.E. Schwab's other books. I know that she has got some books for YA audience. I know that she has got some adult books, but I have not given any of the rest of them a go. Because if the one that would most likely appeal to me, the one that had a little bit of historical element to it as well, if that one didn't set my world on fire, it's probably not going to do the same with any of the others too. Next up is another fantasy book, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I actually went to an event in about 2016-2017 with Leigh Bardugo and Rainbow Rowell. I admittedly was mainly there for the Rainbow Rowell experience. I really enjoyed her books back then. I obviously have gone away from YA in the last few years, so I haven't really read any of her new stuff. But I was a little bit intrigued by what people were talking about and her reading of Six of Crows. So I borrowed a copy of it from my friend and I said, hey, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to see what I like about this. Because it sounded really interesting. It sounded really intriguing. And I think it was honestly just her delivery of the book that was catching me. Because when I actually read the book itself, I couldn't find myself getting immersed in it. So I think that the only way that I would enjoy the Six of Crows duology is if Leigh Bardugo is actually sitting on my couch reading the books to me as I am going about my daily life. I think that's the only way I'm going to enjoy it. I also had given the copy of that back to my friend, and she said that she loved it so much that she just instantly went out and bought Crooked Kingdom. So that's the energy that I've had with other books, and I'm really glad that that's the energy that she found from Six of Crows, but it just wasn't the one for me. It is a truth universally acknowledged that if you enjoy one of Sally Rooney's books, you are not going to enjoy the other. And I am a poster child for that. I absolutely loved Normal People. I really enjoyed it. I associated quite a lot with Marianne in it, but I could not get into Conversations with Friends. I think I tried it about 3 times. I really gave it a go. I just could not get into it. I found each of the characters to be so whiny and so overbearing, and there was just nothing that was really redeeming them to me. And also, I don't particularly enjoy that whole era of Trinity College Dublin drama that is happening a lot in Irish fiction at the moment, where quite a lot of the books are set in Trinity College, and the characters who go there and the characters who the books feature are really irritating and really kind of uppity. It's not the college experience that I had because I didn't go to Trinity. I went to a different college in Dublin. So it's not a situation that I can very easily insert myself in, which is definitely something I'm looking for when I go for a book. A couple of years ago, I gave One Day by David Nicholls a third and final try while I was on a family holiday in Lanzarote and ended up crying at the beach. So I said, you know what? I will give another David Nicholls book a try, and I picked up Us. Now, I read about 20 pages of it before I decided that this wasn't the book for me, but I think that a big reason that I didn't enjoy it was because there was a slight vibe of infidelity going throughout this book, and that is a big turn off for me when it comes to books. I absolutely despise a cheating narrative in any way, shape or form that is presented, even if it was 20 years in the past and we've all moved on from it now, or you're just starting to cheat on your spouse or your partner. It's not something that I enjoy reading about. It's not a world that I want to embrace. So it's not something that I'm going to seek out, and it's not something that I'm going to keep the book going if I find a book that it has in it. I think I have tried To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee maybe about 5 times by this stage of my life. And I think it is genuinely now time to put my hand up and to say To Kill a Mockingbird is just not for me. I cannot get on board with the writing style. I think it's a little bit too flowery and it's a little bit too overbearing for me at times, which isn't always something that I'm searching for in the books that I want to read. And there wasn't anything that was really keeping me going when I picked up To Kill a Mockingbird all of those 20,000 times that I did pick it up. So I think it is genuinely just time for me to say that To Kill a Mockingbird is never going to be a book that I'm going to read and enjoy. Way back about 10 years ago, I used to be completely obsessed with YA books. I used to read YA books pretty much cover to cover within a day to a day and a half. So it was a big sign for me that it took me about 2 weeks to read Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I really did not enjoy this book, and I think it is actually the first book that I've ever hate read. I remember being so confused by this entire book that was based on a girl who really loved film and who loved cinematography and was studying a cinematography course and went to Paris to continue studying cinematography and was astounded to learn that they actually had cinemas in France, the birthplace of cinema. The whole concept of this book just really did not work for me. I found, first of all, Anna to be completely vacuous. And I know that when you're 16, 17, you don't know everything about the world. But I feel like if you are really big into cinema and if you want to be a filmographer when you grow up, you learn a little bit about the world that you want to grow up in. I have a feeling that people who know that they want to be a doctor when they're young, they have some kind of an idea as to how many bones that the body has when they go into their first day of medical school. Or a teacher will have some idea as to how to actually teach a class before they've taken on a teaching job. So it was a complete kind of, what in the name of the world is this? When I picked up Anna and the French Kiss and realized that this woman who has been immersing herself in cinema has no idea how cinema actually started out. A book that really did not work for me, and it's kind of sad because the film adaptation of it was so good, is Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. I really wanted to enjoy this one. I genuinely really wanted to love this, but I found Becky Bloomwood to be absolutely frustration personified. I could not get on board with any of the situations that she was putting herself in. I could not understand any of the financial illiteracy that she has. And I know that these days, quite a lot of people are kind of struggling financially, and some people aren't particularly as financial literate as others may be. Some people don't have a huge savings pot that they can dip into, or they don't have parents who have well-established jobs or high figure earnings or high figure savings that they can help out with things like housing or cars or anything like that. But I also feel like Becky had quite a lot of privileges that she was just completely pushing to the side. And she was actually kind of a Carrie Bradshaw character when you think about it. And Carrie rubs me up the wrong way in so many instances. But one of the biggest ones that I don't like about Carrie is when she found out that she was about $40,000 in debt. And instead of organising to sell some of her shoes on, or taking a look at her finances and seeing where can I hand back and where can I make a couple of savings, she basically went straight to her friends and asked them to put their hand in their purse for her. And when one of her friends didn't do that, instantly berated said friend for not offering to sell an engagement ring, for example. That's not the kind of person that I enjoy watching on screen. So why is it going to be the kind of person that I enjoy reading a book of? Finally, another YA book that simply just did not work for me, but that I kept going because I was reading it for a book club, is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Now, I know so many people love this book. I know that this is absolutely huge. But a friend of mine and I, who were part of this book club at the time, kind of sat in the corner super quietly and waited for everyone to say how much they had loved the book and all of the instances that had made their heart sing. And both of us just looked at one another and said that we felt like we had read the worst book that we'd read that year. I have never been a girl for insta-love. I've never enjoyed reading an insta-love trope. So when that was basically, we have fallen in love and we're going to get our lives together within one day, I could not get on board with that at all. And we're not even going to go into the karaoke booth scene because that has haunted me and will stay haunting me for the rest of my life. But I just could not get on board with that book at all. those are some pretty popular books here on BookTube or in the wider BookTernet community that I simply just did not enjoy. Are there any books on that list that you really feel like you need to defend? Or what is a super popular BookTube darling that you simply don't enjoy? If you would love to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then why not leave me an angry face emoji? Because I think I've made a couple of people angry with this list. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.